Because paiN, they may be the previous champions of Open, but they are not looking to be the champion of the whole of North America.
Certainly not, and obviously Liquids didn't really play much of a part the last time around. This time they very much are. My concern as well, though, is that Liquid are starting on the CT side, and paiN could be pressed back very quickly indeed. Oh, that incendiary as well, though, right onto the tree. It's going to force out multiple players, but Stewie gets tagged down to 2, and none of the teams have fallen alongside it.
I'm disappointed the dual Berettas are not at the top of Banana. That is the only place you ace with dual Berettas, Elige. You can't put them anywhere else or they don't work. Unless, of course, none of his teammates get a kill. Oh, go on. Go back to A. I want to see Elige use the dual Berettas. That's my only hope for this entire round. It started off very strong, though, for paiN. The fact that Fallen's gone and Stewie is literally limping away, it leaves questions to be asked. And it was mentioned by Maui that, again, paiN are very happy to just sit and wait. Like they are not a team that feels the need to just rush you down and instantly push after finding a kill. They can be very patient and play with their opponents, which seems to be the plan right now.
And which, incidentally, was also one of the things that caught Liquid off time and time again on Dust 2. This was something that they outmaneuvered, poked and probed Liquid and put them into these awkward positions. So that fluidity that Maui was discussing will be coming into play here. However, they need to deal with Stewie, who's been smoked off in the coffins, and Nafu stuck at the back of Dark. Oh, the headshot through the smoke, though. Speculative effort, but it's stuck the landing and does weaken them somewhat. But Naf instantly pivoted in by Bigazera. You've got a beautiful P250 over on Overpass, and is continuing that trend forward. Post-plant now after PKL, dispatches of Stewie 2K is looking that little bit more difficult for Liquid to really pull off. They will be coming through together. They have the run and gun style of the dual Berettas. Grim has picked up one, but they line up for PKL. Gets one frag of his own. Grim's dropped down to 23 HP, has no utility by his side, and it needs headshots and needs them quickly, but Bigazera will hold on to the round for paiN.
What have we learned, Vince? If you buy dual Berettas, you play top Banana. That's the only rule that you have if you have that mini raid boss. And yeah, unfortunately, I love how Stewie gets sort of a BS kill through the smoke and then also gets BS killed through the smoke. It was like a little bit of karma that came in through the round. But paiN, they hold on. Now, there is going to be an investment. Now, we mentioned sort of like the 5.7, the Tech 9, these guns being in fashion, I suppose, at the moment. But we've got both Naf and Stewie still sticking to that trusty CZ. We'll see what they can do with them in this round. A bit of aggression as well coming out from Elige, trying to be a bit more dominant in middle after a far more passive stance in the pistol as the raid boss. The fact is, though, this is a round where there's an inherent advantage, although considering how little time has gone, to have one Molotov, one flash, and only smokes is a bit of a worry for paiN.
It's a worry, but that firepower could definitely dig them out of this position. And although Fallen has the scout trained down on middle, it's aimed a little bit too low for the outright headshot. So he could maybe weaken up a couple players to push in. Elige's crosshair may seem odd, but of course he's waiting for that potential peek up on the jump. Decides to go for the peak. Sees a couple of players there, but the warning shots do force them back for the time being. They decide to re-engage. 40 seconds to play with. This again is where maybe that lack of utility will come full circle and bite paiN on the rear end. 2 smokes still in play, but time is just ticking away. 4 players stacked from Liquid on the site, and Naf for the CZ up close. This could definitely rattle a few heads if paiN aren't careful. They get caught with a smoke out. Naf runs out of ammunition, but Elige is there with a deagle. He misses one too many shots. Fallen, try as he may, gets stacked by multiple aggressing, assailing paiN members. And just like that, it's looking good for the 2-0. Although Grim has put a beautiful shot down onto Nekis. Maybe keeps the dream alive.
You could see about a millimeter of his head. If there was slightly less forehead on that player, they would have been alive right now. Hardzao in the pit is going to be the tougher of the 2 to clear, and Grim will fall to Hardzao as well. So it's going to be 2-0 to paiN. Definitely a bit of an uncomfortable round, and I do feel like there were definite opportunities in this one for Liquid, especially as said, like not having any Molotovs, not having any HEs, even flashbangs when they went into that final take. Made things a bit awkward for paiN. But this round at least should be the moneymaker. 2 MAC-10s, a load of utility, AKs on the remainder. and 1 HE. I always find it interesting when there's 1 HE, just a single grenade, because I wonder how much you can realistically do with just one.
Suppose if you decide to push behind the shroud of smoke that it kicks up, you can maybe overwhelm the T's. But yeah, it does feel like it's more of a cross your fingers, close your eyes and hope sort of deals. Liquid have stacked all 5 players over on B, and PKL will be getting tons of money and printing the cash. 2 kills have gone the way of Liquid, which, considering they came in with just USPs, is in itself a pretty solid take out of it. Added to the mix that Elige now has an AK in his hands. And paiN should tread lightly. If they try and hunt down this AK, it could do more harm than good. We know his one-tapping ability is off the charts, but he has already lost a bit of HP, and one more bullet will probably finish him off. I say that he got tagged through the wall down to 9 HP and finished off by Nekis with a Glock of all weapons. That could have gone from bad to worse, and I still think that Liquid will be relatively happy with 2 frags out of that.
Yeah, an extra couple of kills. It means maybe an extra grenade as well. But yeah, they pick off this stag. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get to see the 1 HE actually thrown. It was just lost at the very beginning. But this is where the difference comes in. So there's still going to be a purchase, of course, for either side. paiN losing a few players means their money isn't anything ridiculous just yet. And more importantly, straight away, full utility on every single player, bar Fallen, who, of course, has his trusty orb.
Maybe cannot quite trust the AWP as much as he'd like because of its ping. I'm sure his teammates have full support of him pulling off the frags, but it's Elige that takes the mantle and keeping up the piece from Overpass. Fallen with his AWP over at the backside of B is waiting, doesn't pull the trigger, knowing that Naf has him covered, and now he can just wait in position, pouncing in and pivoting in with the first kill for his account on the map, and getting a second on top of it. Excellent hold. Not a single life lost in the process, and just what Liquid were looking for.
Yeah, impressive. Just a decent crossfire, aggression as well from Elige in the early stages, and yeah, paiN get absolutely nothing, and that wasn't any sort of bonus round. That was everything. They still had AKs across the board. Now they come in with something that looks far more like a bonus round. You got a Deagle, you got a MAC-10. The remainder at least do have AKs, but they've got to at least drop a few guns in this round, otherwise it isn't worth it. Fallen as well will start things off, although it's actually Elige again. He goes for a similar play to the last round, trying to find an early pick for his squad. Instead, ends up losing his life.
Perhaps playing into that more passive side of paiN that we were discussing earlier on is Elige, and I can understand that a lot of the early aggressive takes that he was having on Overpass were just all successful. It's like the guy couldn't miss. He couldn't miss a timing, he couldn't miss an opportunity. Maybe this is a time where you start to play a little bit more cautiously and realize that maybe paiN are a level above their Overpass performance here on Inferno and could very well punish you for these efforts. Now, make no mistake, Liquid are still in a decent position. Nekis is low. It's not like they have tons of grenades at their disposal either. 3 smokes and 1 flash, one of which has just been tossed out. And Liquid still having 3 of their 4 players on A site. This is far from over, and time is starting to tick away.
Yeah, this seems very dependent on what direction paiN go in. With so many players stacked up, Fallen's actually going to get aggressive here. Now, Safe is waiting, peeking, and actually swings straight across the angle. Fallen can't quite react fast enough, and now they have to try and clear out the graveyard, and that's where Naf will remain. It's left all on to Grim. Stewie's slowly rotating, but he won't be there fast enough to do anything about it. And a crazy shot onto PKL, but he needs plenty more of those to win this round.
3 more players to find. They know exactly where he is. He's stuck in the alcove, but he's put himself with the back to the wall intentionally for the off angle, hoping that one of paiN go for a peek. They have no reason to do so. Their positions are solid. They have the AWP of Safe that can watch middle, and the other 2 posted on the site to work together in tandem. And it's good that Stewie has realized that his days would be numbered. They can afford into the next round, especially if he saves this AK. So definitely a worthwhile save. Although it will sting, it will hurt. Because it does put Liquid, Tom, down to a 4-1 deficit on their CT side of Inferno. And this is starting to get a little bit worrisome.
Yeah, I do almost wonder if they are when they realize Fallen is on the other side, like taking far bigger risks with the peak. Like the way that Safe played that, he basically just swings because he knows that he can't react fast enough. And sure, that might be something you do against an AWPer anyway, but with Fallen's current position, he was never going to get that. He would have had to preemptively shoot to have any chance of connecting that shot. So well played from Safe. He also picks up that AWP as well. And that, in first map at least, was an absolute game changer. I won't put the loss in the last solely down to him, but he was definitely much quieter with a few moments here and there, but nowhere near the same level of impact. That nade, though, spoke about the damage that one grenade can do. Well, there you have it.
A high ordnance of the grenade, then followed up by a fair few friends in the form of AK-47 rounds from Stewie, which has put PKL down to 21 and Hajao down to 34. So already wincing and grimacing, limping their way up middle, tossing down a smoke onto Arches, will put Elige into an awkward position should they push towards short. But they also have Fallen posted up with the AWP, so Liquid doing a really good job of systematically shutting down Banana, but also having a decent amount of control over Arches and middle side. Now, Elige did get hit with a stray bullet, but there's Fallen with the peak, and finally he's going to get some success. Elige gets finished off, though. Neck is straight through around Arches, and he can try and wrap around. This is going to put the CTs into a really awkward spot. They're not sure if they're wrapping to B or if they're going to try and end on A. It is the latter rather than the former, and the CTs that try rotating down Banana have been cut off from Hajao.
Again, it's the same scenario as just a round ago. They're going to need Grim to do something truly unbelievable to get out of this position. He's slowly being surrounded in the angle, held from short. One player in the apartments, the other coming through from Graveyard. If he even gets a kill here, I'll be impressed. I have no idea how he's lived this long. I think they're almost just playing with their food towards the end of it. And Naf, well, too late to ever get near that site. So again, paiN continuing their run. 5 rounds already coming up on the T side, and it almost looks like we're getting back to Dust 2 form.
At what point, Tom, do you think that they get Moses involved here off this pretty rough start? Do you think maybe perhaps not next round, but yeah, the next buy round? Because next you're looking at probably just pistols with the M4, right? So maybe not then. But the round after that, I feel like if it continues this form, Liquid, they do need a breather. They need some other direction, because simply put, this is not working out for them at all.
I think one of the things I really want to give credit for in this map and on Dust 2 is that paiN are very good at sort of cancelling out any aggressive attempts at rotations or at pushing through and just catching people in awkward spots. Like it seems to be their timing is almost perfect, almost every single point within the round, and it just makes things very awkward for Liquid. We're seeing Fallen almost have to go for these riskier peaks with the AWP. We've seen Elige a few times now get caught trying to get aggressive just to find out any level of information, because it seems until the last 30 seconds of the round, even they're not decided on where they're going, or at least to our position right now, watching almost as the viewer from above. Like they continuously change and switch up the route that they're taking, so any read from Liquid is impossible.
Stewie will survive, but he's in an awkward spot, kind of turned away, and there's the wall bang. If it wasn't bad enough for Elige, now you've just been wrecked through the wall with no chance to even move.
There's still 2 players here, but it's definitely much weaker now that there isn't the boosted player. You have that battle of elevation and then the peak that can come out from Naf, but knowing that they've cleared off a player, Naf has to switch his spot. Now they've gambled a rotation over here just because of this hold still coming in and the slowdown from this squad. Neck is, as said, like the timing just seems so impeccable from him. That's another pick, another 2 in fact. And Stewie, that's incredible. 2 kills off the back of the CZ, but they're already rotating back. What? Oh, Grim's just got to feel horrible in that situation. Just drops down, gets insta headshot. He's like, don't worry, I'll try and slow them down on the rotation. Well, unfortunately, not this time.
Oh, Stewie, he's played this so well. This will be one of the plays of the entire tournament. If he can pull this one off, 45 HP left. Bigazera and Safe still alive, and Bigazera, spotting a pixel at the top of his head, has taken it off and denied indeed. He will not get the player of the tournament just yet, Stewie.
Other than Stewie's heroics, this round, again, was just so methodical. They cleared every single angle. They made sure there was no opportunity for players to get a cheeky little pick. Even had players catching off any rotations. And well, even the odds are now going into paiN's favor for the series. So that's something in itself. Fallen, as said, like, he's been trying to get aggressive. He's been trying to find some sort of pick off the back of that AWP, but little success, to say the least.
A little bit surprised as well, Tom, that we didn't see a timeout called there. I thought maybe that was the moment to get the heads all racked together and figure out what's been going wrong and what they can fix, but wasn't the case. And now paiN Gaming make the most of it up middle. Bigazera already moving through, way more disciplined, way more passive on the A site, not even trying to take a fight into apps, not even trying to take a fight through an Archer's side. And fair enough, because so often Liquid have tried to go for these aggressive plays in apps, they've been completely thwarted. So it seems like this is the adaptation that we've been waiting for. The problem is that it does allow a lot of pressure to be applied, that you know that you've lost top middle control and one well-placed smoke towards likes of Library, and then suddenly that wraparound is a distinct possibility. But Grim, spotting two players coming through on the app side, through balcony, smokes himself into position. Elige now pivots in with the Orgs, already picked up one. Grim picking up the second on a weakened PKL. It's looking pretty good for the CTs, but now Elige has been dealt with, and with the smoke down on Library, it's funneled away Fallen. It gives paiN the opportunity to get a post plant.
Yeah, they'll slowly get surrounded in. Safe's definitely had a rough start to this game, but this is where he could thrive. An after plant position, the bomb down in his favor. His teammate's going to try and almost cover off towards long. It means that there's definitely an opening, but Safe has realized it. He relies on his teammate to try and watch his back, but instead actually switches his position. I feel like they doubted each other a little bit there, and because of it, Stewie's able to find both. Liquid make that retake stick, but it has to be said, Grim and Elige did a fantastic job to hold on to that site in the first place.
Yeah, precisely. What I was kind of touching on there kind of came to fruition to a degree, that playing that passive does put yourself into more pressure. So you have to have full confidence in your ability with your back against the wall, with nowhere to retreat to, nowhere to run, knowing flashes and smokes will be thrown in your face. Do you have that clarity to hold on? The answer was yes. But even then, paiN did have a couple of opportunities there, Tom. If one of those opening trades goes in favor of paiN, you're looking at a very different outcome, and potentially Liquid being 1-7 behind. Now, Fallen wants to get aggressive. We haven't really seen Liquid go for this just yet, but the flash affords safe passage up second mid and forces away that aggression.
This is a chance for either side. paiN win this round, and economy won't be as bad for Liquid just because the loss bonus is still there. But it won't be great. They definitely won't have a double AWP setup as they do right now. And on the other side of things, the economy's actually started to run a bit dry for paiN. Without a bomb plant, they'd probably be in some trouble as well. Now again, we're going to see this slow default from paiN. Trying to give their players a chance to find a gap, find some space. And Bigazera has definitely been someone to do that thus far. 6 assists as well, by the way, alongside the 8 kills that tot up to his 119 ADR. But this time, a little bit more success coming up for Elige. He's had a few rough rounds with these openers mostly going against him, be it through walls or even just the peaks he's been taking. But this could be a difference. And we saw in the stats earlier, the 4v5 from paiN, I think they said was the worst in the tournament. I don't know if Elliot wants to clarify that, bring it up a second time, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
30 seconds. Well-placed smoke. This is going to make paiN's endeavors so much more difficult. Flashes up and over, not really affecting vision at all. Stewie with the wide swing, anticipating that where one pushes, multiple will follow. And that is the correct assumption. Now, Naf missing out on his opportunity will go down, but it's still a 2-on-3. 12 seconds, a player is moving in from coffins, is smoked off momentarily, but Elige has alleviated the pressure well enough. That retake is very simple and straightforward. Liquid may be a little bit disappointed they allowed the bomb plant to come in, but they still take the round all the same.
For sure. And they've started to look a lot better in these rounds as well. It does seem like when the pick goes in their favor, it just works in terms of trading things out. The crossfire on the B side looked a lot better as well, with Stewie playing more aggressive to slow them down, and Naf just not missing a beat with this AWP. That double AWP is going to continue. And actually, even with the bomb plant, paiN have decided to take their foot off the gas. They're going to give themselves a breather, going with some pistols in this round, and then come up with a 4-buy in the next.
Oh, that second nade's unfortunate, actually. Just went on the tree side for slightly more to the left. It could have done probably about 100 damage because there's multiple players stacked up. Naf will be able to pull back with the Molotov ahead of him. Slight gap in the smoke. Do the T's fall for this, though? If they went in for a peek right now, even with the flash, Naf was likely to hit that shot. Very unfortunate, they went just beyond the gap, and they just rushed him straight down. The P250 of Hardshow's claimed 2 frags, and the post plant comes in. There's an AWP. There should be a rifle somewhere on the site as well for them to pick up, but Hardshow has now been sent packing. Neck is up close with the Tech 9, one-tapping Elige. It's looking so good for the Brazilians to steal this round out of thin air.
Oh, okay, Grim. It looked like he was dead for sure. They had a crossfire set up ready to try and punish. The thing is, though, he's desperately low, but the other players haven't actually got armor or picked up any weaponry. They're trying to boost over the top of the smoke, try and catch someone crossing. If they get fallen, it should be round over, but it's a bit of a whiff, and the spam through kills off safe. It leaves Biguzera alone. Both players tagged. A chance to kill them off. And while they're going to have to try and deny this, he gets both kills with the Deagle. The spam is enough, and he may go down with the ship, but I'm sure paiN will not mind.
Oh, Liquid, bruh. A P250 is the key to crack open the sight on Hardjow. And don't get me wrong, the flashes alongside it were sublime. But those are the kind of setups that when you have an AWP, when you have the rifle, and you know that paiN's economy could be in the bin, you gotta expect that surely, Tom. That's a round that Liquid will go back and watch time after time and be bitterly disappointed to let happen, especially if paiN continue to turn through the gears and somehow win this map.
It's been a while, Vince. We've got Hero AWP. Stewie is going to bring that one into the round. This has to either be him doing something incredible or saving it. There's no in between. If it's lost and they lose the round, this is a punish for the next. And more realistically, that's probably the most likely of the two. Now, we've spoken about safe in great deal, but it has to be mentioned. This game, the rest of the team have been the ones dragging him through. He hasn't had much impact at all, which I do think will change going into the CT side. Like T-side opening of Inferno, it's not fantastic. It's a tough task. So the fact that they've already got 7 rounds on this T-side is a very good sign. Now, speaking of Stewie, there is that Hero AWP finding 1 kill. Naf, a bit of a whiff this time, though. Doesn't get anything done. A free kill for Grim, and more importantly, he's got an AK.
And that smoke may actually lull him into a false sense of security, assuming that he can't push out of there, but it went a bit too deep. So Grim could peek out of balcony and maybe catch one of these T's off guard. Fortunately for paiN, Safe connects the headshot and forces away Grim. And with Stewie on 29 HP and with the AWP in his hands, they will look to save instead. Now, we mentioned earlier, Tom, about a tactical timeout. I think now would be a fantastic time to pull one out. Whether they do, yet to be seen. What we do know for guaranteed certainty, though, is that paiN will already, whatever happens going through into that second half, they will be leading a bare minimum of 8 rounds on the T side of Inferno.
Yeah, I do think we can expect a lot from Liquid's T side. I don't doubt that whatsoever. Fallen's calling alongside what has been some pretty impressive entry fragging off both Elige and Stewie at times. I think their CT side is still looking a little bit rough, but the main issue I have is they have to give themselves a chance. Like, if it's a 9-6 half, even a 10-5, I still believe Liquid have enough to take it through. Goes much further than that, and you're really relying on paiN also making some severe mistakes. And the fact is, a lot of the time, they like to play their CT side as a T side. So they're almost just playing the same side twice. Going into this round, we got a decent purchase. The last round wasn't bad. They did save the AWP. They also retrieved an AK. Considering their financial position, that's fine for Liquid, but now something has to come from it. If it's just that, if it's just you saving a couple of guns and putting the hurt on the economy of paiN, well, we could be seeing upwards of 10, 11, maybe even 12 rounds.
Oh, Hajao nearly burns to a crisp. There's a HE alongside it as well. Fortunate the Molotov didn't extend it a little bit further, or he was a dead man. 8 separating him and Liquid taking the early advantage in the round. But with him still alive with the AK, maybe he can still make this useful endeavor later on. The dying embers of round 12. Fallen, same position, we've seen him a few times, and honestly, for the most part, Tom, he's been pretty comprehensively outplayed. And again, we have to go back to the whole situation with his ping, and he's obviously not feeling 100%, but obviously paiN are going to continue to try and make the most of that momentary weakness.
Well, the time ticking once again. The info gathered from Stewie is actually quite interesting to me. Like, he's this deep on Banana, probably heard nothing, but we're yet to see any sort of move from Naf. He's still just sat very far back. Now they start getting aggressive, and this is when the realization will come into play. I will mention that Nekis is definitely watching for this flank, but there's only 20 seconds left. They eventually have to move. He gets the first kill, but now they look away. They don't expect Naf. He's that second man behind, but they've managed to get an entry into the site. Fallen needs to hold the line, and he gets nothing. Elite, however, will find two. Make it a third as well to close out this round. It was desperately close in the end, but Liquid drag it through.
They drag it through, kicking and screaming, Tom. You know, we want to use words like clear, convincing, effortless, efficient, flawless. None of those words even remotely come close to how close that was for Liquid and how difficult and tentative that round was. And without the magic of Elige on form, the way he played an overpass, some of it glimmering again here on Inferno, that could easily be 9-3. So it's not the kind of round that fills me with confidence personally, Tom. It's good to see, and we're seeing like the glimpses of brilliance that Liquid are capable of, but so far that's all it's been, glimpses.
Yeah, and it needs to be more. Both teams again on the brink. In fact, paiN don't even have much going into this round, but we've seen them do more with less. At the same time, Grim finally springs to life. Gets his 11th kill, moves himself up the joint top of the board, and the remaining two players don't have a hope in this round. Safe finally put something on the board, but it will all be traded out in the end. Liquid get their 5th and start dragging this back again towards what could potentially be an 8-7 half. And considering how things were going, they'll take that.
Absolutely. Yeah, they'd snatch your hand off right now if you gave them the opportunity to get 7. They're desperately falling short for the better part of 4 or 5 rounds in a row. At one point, looked like it would be a complete and utter disaster. I was questioning if timeouts would be coming up. They decided against it, and to be fair, it seems to have worked out for them these last few rounds. paiN Gaming, just Glocks, and a lonely Deagle for safe. And I completely agree with your assessment as well about the whole AWPing situation. Inferno notoriously is difficult for T-sided AWPers. Some AWPers make it work, but the bulk definitely do struggle. CT side on Safe, though, I'm expecting big things. And I think paiN needs him to perform on that CT side if they are going to convert, even if they pick up 10. If Safe is slow and quiet on the CT side, Liquid absolutely can still steal this away.
Yeah, they've definitely done well without him in this first half. Like, there's been other players to step up for sure, but I do feel like a lot of their CT side setups revolve around him finding them openers. As it was mentioned in, what was it, the first map alone, he had 9 opening kills.
Right, yep.
That's a ridiculous stat. Like, and that was the reason they won the map. There's no doubt he was the clinical player. And sure, they've got other talented members, but this is not the time for him to go missing. Now, there's a bait and switch in this. I don't see them getting much, if anything, done here, and it's almost perfect. Sure, eventually Stewie goes down, but Naf will convert the quad kill. Not a round that will matter too much for paiN, knowing that the buy comes back in the next round, but for Liquid, hey, they've got back to that 6, and that was what I mentioned. A 9-6 half for them. I still believe they can do it on the T side.
I would certainly agree with that. Liquid want to make sure that they get as many rounds and as many opportunities to come back into this as possible. I think a lot of people after that overpass performance would have wrote paiN off. Would have said, there's no way they even make this a close map. Great to see them prove a lot of the naysayers wrong. A lot of people, ourselves included, to be honest, had Liquid winning this entire tournament pretty easily. On paper, it should have been theirs. They have been tested. They have been tried multiple times. HE, negligible damage, thought it'd do a lot more than that, and they could actually bypass with these flashbangs. Elise, she's at the back of the site, now been dealt with. Smokes down on Pit allowed them that safe passage, and Sanctuary, now they're just clobbering and pulverizing the site. It looks like they'll end the half solidly at least, even if it's been a flurry of frags. Coming to the hands of Grim. Still in Pit, still alive, albeit on 44 HP. Tries to flash up and over to allow him to at least get one kill and get Fallen back into this round, but he himself may be on the brink of death as he's about to get swept into from PKL. Grim with another one, 13 kills to his name, but he will not add any more, and neither will Liquid. paiN Gaming lead the half at 9-6.
While we've seen paiN in this situation once before, think back to map 1, they went in with a lead, lost the pistol, and then from then out, it was pretty much their map to close. Liquid have got to do what they can to try and turn things around, because this definitely is not looking like Overpass.
A far cry from Overpass, much similar to Dust 2, as you highlight, and a bit of grenade damage early on into Grim. I say a bit, that's turned into a chunk. He's down to 29, the flash is good, and Nekis follows up with that damage. So Grim is dealt the fatal blow and sent packing on the pistol. And a pistol that Liquid will be feeling is vitally important towards their comeback trajectory. And so far, the Brazilians, they're standing their ground.
Yeah, they've used up most of their utility, but it was for a good cause. They've taken that first man down and already rotated in PKL as well. That's the man with the kit. smokes are going to go out. Will actually be put onto the left side. They're going to try and challenge in towards CT, but there's multiple players there. And the peek comes in from Nekis. He actually connects onto no one, but the distraction is enough. Eventually, he closes out Elige, and Biguzera does the heavy lifting. 3 kills for him, 10 on the board now for paiN. 6 is all they need.
For Liquid fans, hot under the collar. This is getting very, very scary, I've got to admit. And as we both said, you know, I think paiN are going to come out better on their CT side. It's just how much can Liquid step up their level? Because we know that they haven't really got out of second gear just yet, if we're being honest. Nekis, though, make sure that they will keep that stalled vehicle on the side of the road. But Naf, he's actually put the brakes onto Nekis. Hajao straight down banana, double play, double SMG rush coming straight at the tees, but it's actually going to backfire. Elige uses the SMG up against him, and they basically had nothing into this round apart from Glocks. Liquid are maybe going to bounce back instantly.
I'm going to quote the almighty Blair and say, Glocks, Vince! This cannot happen. It just cannot. PKL's got to try and save them here, because Fallen and Elige still don't have much. They've got an MP9, a Glock. Well, can they do anything to try and stop him here? He's got a belt of utility alongside him, at least has the M4 as well. Incendiary into the back corner is actually likely to clear out Elige. He's the man with the weapon forced into the open, but hides behind the pillar. The first kill goes his way, and now Fallen, there is that Glock to try and close what the remainder started. He's actually tapped the bomb, wraps around and finishes it off. I shouldn't be getting this excited about this sort of round, but he is as well, knowing how important that might be.
That's one of those rounds that you cheer and then you put your hand down and you bring it back up to facepalm. Because you're like, how did we nearly lose against 5 Glocks? And in terms of the economic situation now, over on the CTs, it is grim. Like, sure, you went for a lot of SMGs, you got a few SMG frags there, that's good. That can build up the bank balance a little bit more. But when you look at the overall funds that the CTs will be coming through with post this buy, look at that. Collectively, they have like $1,100 in the bank, and they still have an MP9. This means that Safe, a player that we highlighted as having a big amount of impact on the CT side, he's not going to have an AWP for quite some time, Tom. And for me, that is super important for paiN, especially if Liquid can bounce right back in here and get victory.
Well, that's the other side of the coin as well. You mentioned how poor the economy of paiN is. Well, you have to bear in mind, that was a flat eco. That was nothing invested for Liquid. So they've got 4 kills in a bomb plant off of that. Their economy's booming. They're going to have some spare cash, AKs, utility, everything they desire. And more importantly, they've now got the opener as well.
Opener in apps, putting a little bit more effort over on the A side for paiN. They've lost a second player, and Elige picking up that mantle of the entry fragger again and just exiting through the CTs at an alarming rate. They have done a decent job elsewhere on the map on B, so they can upgrade one of those M4s to the AK, but it doesn't mean that the round is really falling away with Brazil at all. Liquid have this one in the bag. That much is guaranteed. paiN, all they can do is save. It's not like Liquid can really throw too many of these weapons away either, so I think both teams will be relatively happy with allowing these 5 players to exit the round, but that's mean that Liquid are clawing their way back in.
Yeah, and the problem as well is because of their economy, it leaves paiN in an awkward spot. I wouldn't be surprised to see them force around this completely, because they lost so many players in the last round. They have no bonus money, and they're not going to have any loss bonus either. So you're looking, for example, Hard's out, 1,400, 1,800 for Safe. Maybe he saves an extra bit of money so that in the future rounds, he can get that AWP. Other than that, I expect them to go in with the pistols and try and make something work out of this round. Because if they somehow do it, they save themselves some face at least. But if not, at least then, well, you're going to take that eco and go in with a proper buy. And I'm not surprised to see them take a pause here. Talk through it, work out what you're going to do, and straight away, we're going to see them buy.
Makes perfect sense. $1,400, lack of round loss bonus, as you touched on there, Tom. So instead of having 2 very rough buys or poor buys, just go all in here, potentially turn the corner. Does mean, though, that Liquid, once they see multiple weapons and Kevlar in play, they will know if they're successful here, it's the fast track back towards equality. They can really mount the pressure on paiN. So, Liquid, in terms of their spawns, nothing really catching my eye. Grim had the best with the bomb. Going to be dropping that one down. Maybe get some early aggression up the likes of Banana. But in terms of paiN, they're putting 3 players early on in the round over on the B site, but they're not really looking to take any control over Banana. Instead, they're just going to sit back and wait.
They put the extra players on one side, and if anything, the more effective weaponry on the other. It's probably the best way they can attempt to split their defense. It's not going to be good no matter what they do, but at least they have a bit of extra utility, and we know that they can make these sort of rounds work. For Liquid, they know that this is all about being careful. They're not taking too many risks, not throwing away a round that could realistically get them close to evening things up. More importantly, not giving a chance for some of these stars to thrive. However, PKL has done a fantastic job. It is only going to be 2, though. And trading evenly drops a couple of the weapons and leaves a pistol on 2 players and 1 rifle left.
Yeah, that's the downside. Even though he did a really good job there of holding on for 2, it was the bulk of their firepower went with him. They do still have Nekis with the M4, but lack of utility and only 2 Deagles alongside him, they'll be opting more of a save, and especially a safe has now found an AK, which he'll be throwing back down middle so they can actually take 2 extra rifles out if possible. So paiN doing their due diligence, making sure they come out of this in the best possible shape. Very smart and intelligent decision. It does mean that Liquid guaranteed to get an 8th.
It's almost weird. They're going to come into a round where they probably shouldn't buy, with more money than in the round that they probably should. So again, there's an argument to be had to invest in this situation. Like, realistically, you could drop over an SMG or 2 and come out with not a bad purchase. There is a side of me that hopes that's not what they do, though. Just because I feel like they could easily force buy themselves out of this map if that's the decision they make.
Precisely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And especially as, again, we're looking at the AWP on the CTs because of this really scrappy back and forth and this economic game of chicken almost, where both teams are staring each other down. Safe still hasn't got his hands on the AWP. He won't have one for a while, and that continues to be a problem. So I'm at least glad to see that they haven't forced fully behind the 3 rifles. They still have enough firepower with these 3 rifles to win the round as well, Tom. That's the other thing. You've got to have full confidence in your own ability to use one of these and just connect some headshots and potentially turn the tide back in your favor. But Liquid, you said it's about not making mistakes. It's about playing those percentage areas of the map. And Stewie has removed the head of Safe instantly. And that is B that goes down with him. There's no way of Liquid knowing this intel or this information, but it does force the rotation away from Big Azera, who has one of those rifles. One of the only 2 rifles that still are in possession of paiN.
Yeah, it's a solid sign for Liquid so far. You've got the 2 players that were entry fragging like mad on overpass, and it's going to be Elige leading the charge. The jump up, though, actually ends up being a problem. And again, it's not bad. They haven't spotted Hardzal. Do they clear this? This could be a huge mistake. Stewie being this far aggressive could be a bigger problem. More so, Hardzal gets nothing, but there's a trade. And Nap is left only on 4 HP, trying to survive on the site. A stray bullet could remove him from this round. He's actually going to go peeking, and they steal this one away. It was not the best of buys. It was not the best of situations. But again, paiN make it work.
What did we say? You can win with 3 rifles, and that's why you don't want to see them necessarily force up. They don't have to go for desperation plays, especially when you have an advantage, and they've made those save weapons work. That is why in that last round beforehand, when they decided to pull the plug, save the 2 extra AKs, I'm saying it's a really intelligent play. It gives you that luxury. You don't have to force your way, and you don't have to go for these overwhelmingly aggressive moments and potentially let Liquid back in. And the effect it has to Liquid is they can come back in with 4 AKs and the Galil, but they have almost no money in surplus. So you're in a position where you're very close to just breaking Liquid fully, pushing down Banana, and already destroying Stewie. He is so lucky to survive that.
I do love watching paiN play. To have a round that brings your economy back from the depths, puts it in a position where you can actually buy fully, and your first decision is to run straight down Banana. You've got to be a little bit mad to try that, but I respect the fact that they are. And it's shut Liquid out completely. Sure, they took a lot of damage from nades themselves, but now they're forced back into a rotation. And look at where the stack is, Vince. There are 4 players here waiting. It's just whether or not Liquid actually go all in, and I think they might be selling a bit of a fake themselves.
They're trying to outmaneuver paiN. Bigazera.
Oh no.
I think the timing may work against him here. No, intelligently backs away. I think if he has a second player, he may very well go out for another repeat there, but because he knows the importance of staying alive and acting as a pivot point and a bit of intel gathering, decides to pull the plug, which was definitely the right decision. Liquid are coming up, though. Flash and smoke preceding the push. Bigazera's been flashed twice in a row. Third flash in a row. But PKL and Bigazera spraying down the oncoming Liquid players, evaporate them on Inferno. And it's looking like it could go from bad to worse. The Brazilians are beasting Liquid right now.
He's so good at maneuvering himself. Like, there were so many positions in this round where I thought Bigazera was going to end up getting caught. Again, you just look at him currently, 19 and 10, a load of assists, same for PKL. Like, it is not the stars we necessarily expected, but they're performing so well. And I feel like catching him, it's like trying to catch lightning. Like, it either you fail or you get shocked. That's the only things that happen.
Tons of grenades. Ordnance being used a bit too deep, though. Not shallow enough, but they still jump up. And paiN, and it's fitting its Nekis. He said at the start of the day, we're going to play our own game. It's up to Liquid to adapt to our style. He's proving a point here, Tom. That this aggression is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, he survives on one.
You gotta be so bad. Someone does that to you and gets hit for 99. It could backfire, though. It very easily could backfire. 4 players setting up. Bigazera is here. Has he spotted the player over the top of the smoke? I'm not sure he has. They're going to go for a bait and switch. I like this. So they've realized, okay, Nekis is incredibly low. Use him as bait. Throw him in. Nice shot from Grim, though, but he clears this angle. Does he go back to check again? He does. They've realized that Bigazera is still here. Can they do anything about it, though? He's going to clear out 3 players. He should have been dead a long, long time ago. And now Naf is left. 1v2.
He has no Kevlar. Aim punch could be a problem, and he's been spotted. 38 seconds left. He's also being flanked. The probability of him winning this round is so low, but that smoke may have done more harm than good because it's effectively isolated these 2 CTs from one another. They've got the backs to each other, and PKL spins around and finally sees Naf and puts him down. But that call to me, Tom, it shows that paiN, they're not just brawn, but they got a ton of brains as well. That was a great call on the economy because you don't stack 2 players at the back of Shadow if you think they have a Molotov. Because if you stack 2 players there and a molly flies your way, it's GG. Like, you're done for. So they knew it was the Eagles. They knew the lack of utility. They had a great read of the situation, and they played off that. They effectively played into Liquid's intelligence.
I want to bring up something that Maui's tweeted. The fact that this is an ESEA advanced team. 2 rounds away now from eliminating Team Liquid. Now, there's a quick trade, but it goes in favor in the end of paiN. They are looking to take the fight to Liquid, as they've done throughout this map. There is no shying away from it. This team loves to brawl, and they come through once again. 15-8, looking to try and battle for their title, retain it, in fact, as they were the champions of the last North American DreamHack Open 43. Well, the 44th, let's put it this way, had a lot more competition. Sure, you had the guys at Extra Salt before, but Team Liquid came in as a heavy hitter, a team looking to try and walk through this tournament, use it as practice, and come out stronger on the other side. Well, they are 1 round away from being eliminated by an up-and-coming Brazilian squad.
This would be such a shock to the system, and Stewie2K has had his life support turned off. And potentially Liquid are going to follow suit because you look at the rest of their weapons here, Tom. It's looking grim. 2 MAC-10s, 2 Deagles. A healthy dosage of grenades, but they may not get the luxury of using them. Although Hajao does wide peek with that grenade, it's only going to do damage, and he manages to escape. Safe for the flick onto Fallen. And now the T's look to push in. Safe is relocating to the back of the site. Molotov on balcony. Somewhat stymies and stalls the push, but not for long, as Nafli's now sprung into action with the MAC-10, trying to save Liquid desperately. Already 2 kills come up, but no control over the bomb, and he has to play through a smoke and flashes, waiting, anticipating that maybe PKL pushes him, but if he comes round the corner, there is Nekis, and there is the absolute shock surprise result. Liquid are done.